Gentlemen, you there?
Yeah, we're here. Yeah. How you doing?
Good. All three of the Zellner brothers there?
Yeah. David and Nathan
and Zeppo. How's it going?
Good, thanks. How you doing?
Not too bad. Yeah, we got David and Nathan. Where are you guys right now? In the West Coast, or are you in Austin? Where are you guys?
Oh, we're in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles?
Yes.
Are you at Magnolia?
Oh, yes.
Oh, good.
Magnolia is releasing the film. Yeah, we're just doing. We have the premiere tonight, so today's our press day.
It makes complete sense. But the film is opening on the 21st of June, just to get some housekeeping out of the way, right?
June 22nd.
June 22nd. Okay, make a notation there. Had it wrong. Okay, and that is wow. Okay, is that both in L.A. and in New York?
Yeah, L.A., New York, and then it expands from there.
Right. It would make sense you're not opening on a Thursday. Okay. I don't know why I had the wrong day there. I'm usually so organized. Anyway, I'm glad to talk to you guys again, albeit not in person, but this is fine. I got to see Damsel, to my good fortune, I might add, because it looks so spectacular. And we'll maybe get to Adam Stone at some point. But it looked great. I saw it on a big screen, so I was very grateful for that.
Cool. Yeah, no, we made it to be seen big. So right. We know it eventually will be seen on iPhones, but we made it to be seen big. And yeah, that was we like to see movies on the big screen as much as possible.
But Westerns are all about a period in America where the expansiveness of it was part of the identity of the country. And I guess it still is in the West to some degree, right? I mean, that's part of the whole theme about America in the 19th century was expanse. So why, to watch it it's almost, I think, really crucial to see it on a big screen.
Yeah, we wanted, we wanted to shoot on location, even though we have no regard for any kind of real geographic accuracy with the setting, and there's a mythic quality to it.
Right.
We wanted, we wanted to, play with different landscapes and have really embrace the locations that we were shooting in.
Nathan, stop interrupting. Guys, did you really grow up at home? I mean, watching Westerns, or is that just a myth you're trying to start?
No, I mean, we've been fans of the genre. We actually grew up in Colorado and Texas, and as kids we did a lot of summer trips through the West and the Four Corner State. So it's always something that we really appreciate how it gets romanticized and these beautiful backdrops that you want to film in someday, and we grew up at different points in our lives being exposed to and discovering different types of Westerns and different pockets of from spaghetti Westerns to stuff a little bit more modern, but it's always been an interesting genre for so many different reasons.
Right.
Maybe the location, the history of America during that time, and the mindset of the people who were going west. I think it's all even though we're not historically accurate in Damsel. It has the tone of that period, and it's influenced by those little things.
Right. Well, also Westerns always seem to be the genre that explored good versus evil and morality in man. The inner tension. That contrast even within oneself in terms of your own moral decisions and the way you live your life. And it's explored in this film, but it's like you guys have kept pulling. I don't want to say you're pulling the rug from under us, but to some degree you are. You keep playing with us as an audience a little bit, right? All of our expectations keep getting turned upside down.
Yeah, I think, we like to make things that we would like to see ourselves, and it's always nice when you can be surprised by something. Or for us, it's always so, when you know what's going to happen, it's always so frustrating, when you go to the movie. So we just we try to when writing it, it's just trying to. I think just intuitively things come up in ways that are that keep it fresh, or that kind of subvert certain tropes that you're used to, or that you might conveniently fall back on with writing and just the story and try and this is kind of puzzle you're creating of trying to make it constructed in a way that is that keeps it interesting and it moves along. That's just part of the fun of it.
And the neat thing about working with genre is that you have a shorthand with the audience already, and familiarity in some respects. So you can use that. Being mindful of it, you can use it to your advantage to sort of misdirect or surprise.
But it says you have that foundation, and then once you grasp with that, you can then take it in different directions.
I guess, though, still you have to have a solid, very solid framework and a very solid infrastructure and characters. And I have to say, you really did successfully do that. I think people are really going to enjoy this film on a number of levels because it seems like you did a lot of homework. It seems like you really have a solid story with great actors. That's a compliment to you guys, too.
Thank you.
But who is this? I was reading through some of the press notes, and I'm familiar, of course, with, the classic Westerns from the 30s, 40s, 50s of, of course, John Ford and Michael Mann and then later on kind of a resurgence with the spaghetti Westerns and the acid Westerns. But you mentioned this guy, Bud Bedecker, I guess his name is?
Bud Bedecker, yeah.
Who's that? I mean, I know he directed a lot of films in the 50s, it looks like, but I wasn't as familiar with this name. Yeah,
I feel like more people should know about him because he played such a big part in the history of the genre, and he's influenced so many filmmakers that followed him. I think he paved the way. Well, in Peckinpah and Leone, I think both have singled him out as being a huge influence, and because he kind of took the more conventional, kind of like Western melodramas that you're familiar with from the up through the 40s and 50s, and then in the 50s, you create these films and almost always starring Randolph Scott, where on the surface it has this a little more conventional, wholesome quality, but then and so you're kind of lured into it with that, and then but then there's this kind of underlying moral complexity and darkness that that kind of creeps in with these amazing, really tight scripts that are just so fascinating. And I think because it has this kind of wholesomeness on the surface, it's all the more of an impact when things shift and have this kind of darker undertone. And they have just some of the most just amazing, wonderfully bleak endings. I love all of the films.
Well, I gotta thank you and also curse you for introducing yet another filmmaker to me, and I gotta check out his whole oeuvre, his whole body of work, and spend time not doing other things, watching his films, his westerns. But I mean, I will have mentioned and gone over the synopsis a bit in my introduction when I record that, but it's worth mentioning that, Robert, obviously Pattinson, who recently has been doing really some great work, and I don't know if you want to call it daring, and maybe it's actually not daring for him. Maybe this is kind of where he's just compelled toward, and he's taking great roles. Obviously, he's worked with David Cronenberg and the Safdies recently, and now this. He really is terrific as Samuel Alabaster, right? Who, I love that opening sequence, by the way, the pre-title sequence, or maybe it's over the title sequence. Can you remind me?
Oh, with the dancing?
Yeah, with Maya. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the title sequence, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just sets it up. Again, here it is between that and the title were being set up. I enjoyed it. I don't want to give away anything more because it'll just cut into people's fun for me to give too many details. But he does set out to save his sweetheart, right? who has been ostensibly kidnapped.
Well, things shift as the story goes along. Yeah, he's going to meet up with the love of his life, and
Penelope,
and things don't go as planned.
Things don't go as planned, as they never seem to. And Mia Wasikowska plays Penelope. And then, interestingly enough, you cast these two unknown actors, or relatively I'd say they're pretty well known in the indie world. David and Nathan Zellner as Parson Henry and Rufus Cornell, respectively. Now, is that because you blew your wad on the other cast members, and it was a practical decision, or was this? Sorry, or was that?
We've always acted in our own work.
Yeah.
When appropriate, and I think if we were just doing it now for the first time, it'd be daunting. But we just, from when we were making home movies, and we were, just on VHS, we were operating, with us being in front of and behind the camera, and so I think just years of doing that with the two of us, you just kind of develop a shorthand in wearing the different hats, and so in writing it, we had these characters were on our mind to play them, and they were kind of written to our strength. That we both something we knew we could do, but then also something we could do within the context of wearing these other hats with the film. And so it was calculated in that way. But at the same time, you never know until you end up making it how the casting will all shake out. But we did construct it with that in mind. As that's just another part of the process that we really like.
As long as you got along well with the directors, I guess I'm glad.
Sometimes.
I swear, Nathan, I honestly, I didn't even recognize you. I just didn't know until the end credits. I didn't realize that was you.
Okay, yeah, I mean, part of the joy of acting is just kind of the costumes and the makeup and growing up, extreme facial hair.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun and it personally helps with the character to kind of get into that weird mindset or whatever Rufus is supposed to be. But
when you have a good costume, that's like half the acting.
Yeah, it is. And it's always such a nice compliment I think when someone says that, I had no idea you were in it. So,
yeah.
I think that's a great compliment.
Well, it's how it was intended, really, because I just thought, this must just be one of these character actor guys and I guess he is. He was.
Yeah.
And you worked with Adam Stone, who's just shot also Wild Wild Country, right, for at Netflix, and he works often with Jeff Nichols. Was that your first time collaborating with Adam?
I've known him socially for years.
They collaborated over drinks.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, known him socially for a long time, and I acted in something that he shot like a million years ago, and then friends with Jeff, and so he's love his work, and so it was and we're really lucky to have him be a part of this, and because we wanted to really, and it was all location based obviously, and so we really wanted to embrace the surroundings and give it that kind of pretty epic look that we were going for. Yeah,
it was really kind of beautiful, Again, another reason for seeing it on the big screen. Hopefully it play. Hopefully it play on a lot of them. It seems like there still is very much though this fascination with the Western. People still seem to go back to it. Generations still go back and watch the classics, and it's still really they're embraced. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think just everything. Kind of in waves. And I think there's still the love of Westerns, and it's also like a much broader genre than I think. Sometimes people kind of distill it down to, well, it's I don't know, either spaghetti westerns or John Ford westerns, but I think it can go much broader than that. I even group to a certain degree like something like Little House on the Prairie with the frontier life, and grew up. I love that's was one of my favorite shows growing up. And so I think like subconsciously, or even like Yosemite Sam cartoons. I think all those kind of fall into in different ways into the Western genre, and it's been inspiring to us. And there's as many being made now, but there's still good ones being made. We both really loved Hateful Eight. I just thought that was like the funniest movie I'd seen in forever. And I was so glad to get to do that in the theater.
Again, the name of the film is called Damsel, which we were talking about before. These tropes that you could take and then turn them on their head, or whatever, however you want to put it. But even the title does that too. A setup, kind of
yeah, from the outset. Yeah.
You're fucking with us a little bit because
yeah. I mean, usually I think the title. Sometimes the title comes up before the script. Like that was the case with this one. And so it just from the outset that there was a very particular plan with what we wanted to do with the film.
Well, obviously the programmers out there really loved it. It premiered at Sundance, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sundance, and then it was in competition in Berlin, and then we went South by Southwest after that. And
amazing.
So we've been really we've been really lucky with the support we've had. We owe so much to the festival circuit. Sure. Is what kind of got us exposure in the first place, and then one project always leads to the next, and so it's been really great to through the spring to have the film on the circuit there, and then we're really excited to be getting it out to the theaters in the summer.
Well, and now you have this body of work. I mean, it's pretty impressive, actually. Right? You have like 5 features. How many features you got?
Well, I don't. It depends on like when people start watching. Like we made 6 features, but like no one's seen the first. Or like no one's seen a lot of what we've done. But
early on,
everything we've done has been. I think every film we've made was made in part because of what preceded it, and therefore we'll kind of build on any kind of interest from there. So, but yeah.
Damsel, which stars Robert Pattinson and Mia Wasikowska and David Zellner, Nathan Zellner, and yada yada yada. No, number of other great actors, including Robert
Forster.
Robert Forster makes a cameo. I'm not going to give any more away, but it opens on Friday, June the 22nd, and then goes wider in the following weeks. Magnolia, I guess, is distributing it. I urge people to go out and see it. I'm just glad to get you guys back on. I hope we can do this again in person some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be great.
Yeah, glad you liked it.
Yeah, thanks for having us again.
You bet. All right, let's stay in touch.
Okay. Take care. Thank you.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.